Welcome to the Thriving Artist Podcast, where we share strategies and support for artists to thrive.
We know that the art world can feel like a lonely place, and we want to provide a network of support, impactful strategies, and an abundance of encouragement to help you grow your authentic art career.
We're your hosts. I'm Jamie Smith.
And I'm Kaylan Butine, and we are also the co-founders of the Thrive Together Network, a community of female and non-binary identifying artists and artists who are caregivers.
We truly believe in community over competition, and we're so glad you're here. Enjoy this episode.
Hello, we are so happy to have you listening for another episode of the Thriving Artist Podcast. I'm Kaylan Butine, your host, and my definition of success involves feeling seen and known for the work that I create and the work that I do in the world.
I'm your other host, Jamie Smith, and my definition of success actually came from my dear father, who told me success is having time, money, and health all at the same time. It's easy to have one or two, but you need all three. It's the trifecta. So Kaylan, I'm really excited about this episode today because I do think this is a fundamental conversation. It's so easy to get caught up in the tricks and tips and sort of these day-to-day things as being an artist. But our mission is to support artists to have a long-term, sustainable, and successful careers. And we have seen a lot of them. So you and I have worked with literally hundreds of artists at this point.
Yep.
So we have kind of found some basic principles to talk through.
Yeah. And I do think what you said about the tips and tricks, like it's easy to get distracted by sort of, the new thing that we're all supposed to be doing, this shiny thing, this train that we want to hop on, and we kind of, let our focus waver. But I really think it's just these simple things that artists do that are connected to commitment, that really is what defines a successful career. So we're going to talk about what some of those are today and just offer these like reminders as we are already moving into the second quarter of 2023. It's crazy. So today we're sharing 5 things that we know that successful artists do. We have seen these practices time and time again. As Jamie said, we've worked with so many artists. And of course, there are other things that successful artists do. This is not meant to be a comprehensive list, but see, these are sort of the things that we feel like number 1 are the most basic, like the most foundational, and number 2, the things that we see happen the most common, right?
So across the board, when we have successful artists in our view, these things are always there.
Yes. So I'm going to start with number 1. Successful artists commit to creating. Artists who are successful in their work and career all have this certain level of commitment to it. The levels of commitment are all different for each artist. And I really don't like that language that kind of creeps in when you feel like you have to spend a certain amount of time. Like when somebody asks you, well, how many hours does it take in the studio to be a successful artist? Like, that's not really the point. The point isn't cataloging or calculating specific hours. It's about finding what level of commitment you're able to have in your life in this season and really maximizing that commitment and staying strongly committed to it, right? So I know plenty of artists who their commitment in their studio varies by season to season, right? Like myself as an artist, who when my kids are off in the summer, I might not get in the studio all summer, but that doesn't mean that I don't have a strong commitment to my work. It's just that I know when I am committed to my work, and when that fits into the season of my life, I really go for it. I have strong boundaries and I stay committed to it, right? The commitment is what is there, and you figure it out based on your life and your season. So I think too, another word that's coming to mind is like prioritizing, right? Like we are prioritizing our art, and it just might look differently across the board because we've all got different lives and things going on. So, but it really is just about that commitment, about staying in a routine, in building habits to get into the studio and stay committed to creating your art.
Well, and it works for our number 2 for the 5 things that successful artists do. That is really important. The more you're creating, the more that you can develop your artistic voice or language. So we see a strong artistic voice and language with successful artists, and you really have to make a lot of work to get there. It takes time, and this can mean different things. It doesn't mean that you have to have aesthetic totally different style, your own style, but that usually does develop over time. But it can be just a real strong understanding of what you make and why you make it. It can be about having a visual vocabulary that's strong and distinct and very much you.
Right.
But again, it's going deep into that work, and that typically takes a lot of creation. So again, that commitment, but you become an expert because you've done this so many times over and over again. And it builds this sort of confidence that definitely is a mark of a successful artist to us.
Okay, and I can't help but plug 2 programs that we offer on the Thrive Together Network that really are connected to these first 2 things, specifically the second thing. But our Crit Crew program and then our art residency program, Crit Crew is this place to get feedback, to help you have conversations that develop your language, develop, the way that you think about your work. And I just think it is so important to have that support, and doing it through a program like Crit Crew to help you really understand your visual voice and your visual language. And then another thing that I think is connected to this idea of visual language and development and commitment to your work is our art residency program, because literally twice a year, as many of the artists in our community who want to join us commit to a specific project in the studio for 4 weeks. This happens in the months of February and then again in the fall in the months of September. And it is this routine, this habit that we build, this commitment to just making the work. So as a TTN member, you get these things kind of built right in, and you have access to some of these things that really are these markers to being a successful artist.
And our third point, of course, comes back to have a strong network. So it just fits perfectly. But we do see successful artists build networks around them. You can't do this all on your own. And it really makes a difference having art friends that can really see what you're doing. It gives you a place for these conversations. It gives you a place to feel committed to what you're doing. Like, it's just supporting all of the other things that are going on and that you need to do to be a successful artist. So we actually did a whole episode about sort of creating your art ecosystem. So it's episode 26. And we broke down the 4 types of relationships that every artist need. And it's really about creating your ecosystem. We also created a free gift for you called the Artist Networking Toolkit. It's on our website at thrivetogethernetwork.com, along with 2 free sessions that are coming up. So if you're listening to this now, you have not missed it. And they are coming up, and we're going to go through all of this, because having that network is going to really help you not only get further, and be successful, but I think a big thing is you're going to feel successful because you're going to feel supported and plugged in.
Yes, I know we say it a lot, Jamie, but that network, those connections and relationships are really just so important to finding, your path to success as an artist. And Jamie and I really believe that this combination of that strong network plus, a plan and being intentional with your time and your decisions about your art career, those kind of go hand in hand. And that is a marker for success. And those 2 things are what we offer on the network. So we would love for you to join us. Speaking of promotion, which I am doing here, the 4th thing that we see successful artists do is they consistently promote themselves and their work. I know. This is not something we want to hear.
I thought there was going to be like a secret sauce here.
No. Well, this is the secret
I guess.
sauce.
I just wanted to eat the meal, not do the work.
Yes. I really do think that putting yourself out there and sharing your work in a consistent way what it does is it builds trust between you and your audience, and it builds momentum for your career, right? If you're consistently putting yourself out there, sharing about your work, you're building this arc of, breadcrumbs that are all your career, that it just gets stacked on top of each other. And that road to success is kind of built through these many, many bricks of self-promotion. And we really think that the artists who do this self-promotion in diverse ways are artists who are doing it more successfully, right? But it's about not feeling ashamed, not apologizing for taking up space in the world, just finding that confidence to share our work and strategize and do it in ways that feel good to us. In this day and age, I just don't think there's those magical art unicorns anymore who are alone out in the woods and a gallery just finds you and does all the work for you.
Man, I've been wandering in the woods for decades, it feels like, waiting for that gallerist to come find me, the little unicorn.
She ain't
It hasn't
coming.
happened.
She ain't coming, Jamie.
Well, we're seeing that, most galleries now expect you to continually do your own promotion. It's, our Taking Up Space program, where we ask members to put on your own art show, is literally founded in this belief that we have to do this on our own and create space. So I think it's really important to know how. And the key word there is consistently, which is my greatest struggle. Yep. I do really well for like a month.
Yeah. A little hot and cold there.
A little hot and cold. So, and I think a key thing, it doesn't have to all be on social media. It can be in different ways, your newsletter and stuff like that. But it is about, doing that work, which leads me to point number 5, our last one. We believe successful artists, they, despite the doubt, despite when it gets hard, they do the work anyway. And that's what it comes down to. That is the secret sauce. It's just boring secret sauce, wah, wah. But I just feel like we both see this happen, is that when you show up consistently with your own work and also getting your work out in the world, everything else does follow, because that is what we're leading with as artists. The core of our work and us putting that time and energy into it is really what leads, and then everything else follows. So we would love to support you in doing this. So jump over to TTN if you feel you're a little lonely unicorn out in the woods waiting for that. Yes, I love that. Number 5, despite the doubt, just do the work. I really think that is easier said than done, as you kind of mentioned, Jamie. Sometimes that's what feels boring, but at the same time, isn't that what we all want to do, is the work? Like, we want to make the work, but I think it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to get discouraged. And so, when you are a successful artist, or the mark of a successful artist is, I think, people who just do the work anyway, no matter when they're bored or when they're discouraged, right? Yeah. So yeah, I just want to recap the 5 things again for you. The first one is to commit to creating, right? Build those habits, make routines that really help you prioritize and stay committed to your work. Number 2, develop your art language and go deep in your work to solidify your artistic voice. Number 3, have a strong network. We would love to see you on TTN if you don't have a strong network, but that really is a key to being successful, is having really good relationships and networking. Number 4, do that consistent self-promotion as much as we might hate it. You just got to keep doing it. And number 5, despite those doubts, despite the messy mind, just do the work, keep doing the work, make the art, and the rest will follow. So we hope this episode helped simplify, got you back to basics, and we hope it was encouraging to you. Reminder, we have a free gift for you. It's called the Artist Networking Toolkit, now available on our website, thrivetogethernetwork.com. And it comes with 2 sessions where you get to come and join us for our weekly Art and Tea, which is our weekly community gathering for our members. And we're opening the doors to you, whether you're a member or not, on March 14th. You're our guest. Be our guest on March be our guest. 14th and 21st. Those sessions are at 1 p.m. Eastern or 10 a.m. Pacific.
The links to those sessions can be found at our link tree on our Instagram, Thrive Together Network, or in that toolkit, thrivetogethernetwork.com.
Yeah. Little unicorns come out of wandering the woods alone.
Yes.
Come to Art and Tea. So as always, we are here for you. We are cheering you on, and we truly believe in the work you are doing as thriving artists.